Quick shout out to my patrons. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey y'all, it's Kate from the Little Apothecary, and today we're doing a bookshelf tour. So some of you may know that I recently moved to a new apartment, and so I thought take this chance to do a bookshelf tour now that my books are all organized. And at the end of this video, we're going to have a guess how many books I own contest. So whoever comes the closest to the number of books that I own, I have an exact number without going over. So whoever gets closest without going over will win. I'll buy a book off of their wish list, and they get to be celebrated for guessing how many books I have. I thought this would be a fun chance to interact with you guys instead of just showing off all my books. Have it be an interaction. So the first round, there will be a couple different videos pasted together as I arrange my apartment and get everything set. So the first set of videos is in my library space, my office, and this is the majority of the books that I own. So pay attention, pay close attention, try to guess how many I have, and just have fun with this. Let me know what books you want to read with me. What do you want to buddy read? What books do you see that you absolutely loved? What books did you not like? Let me know in the comments below what stands out to you. So without further ado, here we go. So first up, we actually have my book cart, which has my TBR for the next coming months, books that I own, of course. And then down on the bottom there, I think half of the second shelf and the entire third shelf are my unread books that start with the letters A to C. And then they couldn't fit on the shelves because I have so many books. And then over here is where the rest of the C's pick up, if it will focus. Oh, it's not going to focus. Okay, maybe if we come closer. Oh, there we go. So this is where the rest of the C's pick up, starting over here, going that way. They're shelved alphabetically by title of book and or series. I tried to do series when I knew it was a series. Some may be a little bit misshelved, but they're my shelves, so I don't really, whatever. So we've got 3 rows of all of this here. And these are books that, like I said, I haven't read or I want to reread, that I've either accumulated over the years or you all have sent me or have purchased on my own. And then here's some more unread books. These go from letters S down to T. And y'all, there were a lot of T's because of the that a lot of books start with. If you're an author and you're watching this, try to come up with a better way of titling your book other than the blah, 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 blah. Because there are so many books that start with the letter the, or series that start with the letter the, that is so hard. So let's see if we can get some closer looks in here. You might recognize some of these. All of those that you can't see the spine of were books that couldn't fit on that shelf up, vertically, so I had to put them horizontally. And then over here, we have the books that I have read and want to save and probably reread again someday. And it's not starting over here and going this way. It's actually starting over here and going this way, and then we jump over here. So just like the other unread books, these are alphabetized by title and or series. And yeah, actually I lied. It is starting over here. Now that I see the titles, starts here with 1984 and then goes this way and this way, with some in the back. So keep in mind that some of these have back rows. So when you're taking a tally of books, some of these shelves are double-sided. Let me know, what favorites do you see on these shelves that you've read, or what have we read together that you really enjoyed? I love all of these books, and so I just had to show them off. So that's part one of my bookshelf tour. I'll be back again when I have a little bit more time and more things organized so I can show off some more of my books. So now that I have my books all set up, I wanted to go through these books and just highlight a couple of them. I love it when people highlight certain books on their bookshelves, and honestly, there's no rhyme or reason to which ones I'm going to highlight. It's just whatever ones stand out to me the most in that particular second. So I'm going to try to do at least one or two per shelf, and just so you get an idea of some of the books that I have, you can't necessarily see them all here. So while I'm doing this, also just a reminder, keep in mind we've got the guess how many books I own contest going on. So take into account all of these books as you're thinking of your numbers of how many I own. So starting with this bookshelf here, these are all the books that I have not read yet or want to reread. A lot of them are books that you've sent me. Two books here that I want to highlight. They both happen to be blue. Coincidence, not coincidence. The Magician Apprentice by Raymond E. Feist. This book I got as part of our Sisterhood of the Traveling Book Box project with Fine and a whole bunch of booktubers, and I can't wait to read this, but that blue absolutely caught my eye. I had to have it. For some reason, books with blue covers just draw me straight into them. So I took this book out to highlight because I'm actually doing another book box with Fine and a bunch of booktubers that's just fantasy and science fiction based, and I'm waiting to get my box on that one. It should be coming this weekend, but I can't wait for y'all to see that project because there's some absolutely fantastic booktubers as part of that. And then the other book on this shelf that I wanted to highlight is Master of Sorrows by Justin T. Call. This book was gifted to me by one of you all, and I just love that cover. It just looks so classy and so fantastic. It caught my eye instantly. Justin T. Call is actually a follower of mine on Instagram and Twitter, so I knew I had to have this in my TBR. I just love that book. So moving on to this bookshelf, this little black one. It has 4 shelves. I say little because it's short, but it's actually got 4 bookshelves, so it's got more than some of the others. Obviously, the first one I want to highlight is this C.J. Sansom book. This is a series. It's a Tudor historical fiction series, and these covers instantly, like, I fell in love with them as soon as I got them. Carrie sent these to me, one of my subscribers and really good friends, and this entire series has beautiful covers. I can't wait to read this. I think one day maybe I'll buddy read this with my friend Leslie at the Nerdy Narrative. And then the other one that I wanted to highlight was also gifted to me, and that is The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. This just looks absolutely amazing. I've heard such great things about this book, and I just love this cover. It's so fun. Moving on to our other big tall shelf, we've got this white shelf here, which you're used to seeing behind me. So what do we want to highlight on this shelf? There's so much to talk about. Let's talk about the Three Musketeers. I absolutely love these word cloud editions because they are like sturdy leather material, and they have these, you know, quotes on the front, phrases and characters and words on the front. On the back we usually have a quote. Does it say they walked arm in arm, occupying the whole width of the street and taking in every musketeer they met, so that in the end it became a triumphal march. The heart of D'Artagnan swam in delirium. He marched between Athos and Porthos, pressing them tenderly. And that, if you've ever seen The Three Musketeers, any version of it basically sums up The Three Musketeers. And then the other book you see down here on the bottom, already ready to be displayed, I want to talk about is Zero Boxer by Fonda Lee. Fonda Lee is one of my favorite authors right now. You've seen my authors I'm obsessed with. She's on there, and she wrote the Green Bone Saga, but she's also got this, I think it's YA series called Exo and Crossfire. It's a duology, but this is another YA sci-fi that is actually a standalone. We don't often have standalones in fiction or sci-fi, and so I just had to highlight that and say thank you, Fonda Lee, for writing a standalone, because how we rarely get those. We come along to my TBR cart / the rest of my books that couldn't fit on the shelves. So our top cart here, we have my June TBR plus my Joan Didion book, which we've been reading every month. So up until this very last book here is all of my June TBR, plus, you know, all the rest of the Hitchhiker books because of the series, so I wanted to keep them all together. And then this book right here is A Natural History of Dragons, and that's the start of my July TBR. Down here we have my Harry Potter illustrated editions, which are absolutely amazing. Those I'm going to be reading starting in September with the Nerdy Narrative, Leslie at the Nerdy Narrative. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. And behind them we have books that I'm absolutely behind on. These books that I should have been reading this entire year. And then the start of the rest of my books that couldn't fit on the shelf, starting with A. And the same thing down on the bottom here. These are C. And on this side, this is B. A to B, I believe. So that's just a little of what we've got going on here. Not really a lot to highlight here. Now over here are my red books, and you'll see a lot of familiar names. We start over here with 1984 going this way and then down, and then in the back what do I want to highlight here? I always want to try to highlight people like Maya Angelou, who doesn't get talked a lot on BookTube, at least our corner of BookTube. I absolutely love Maya Angelou. Her writing is top notch. She's a goddess in writing, I call her, and I Know Why the Cage Birds Sing is absolutely incredible. And also right next to her is a book called In the Kingdom of Men. This is written by Kim Barnes, and I have this book because Kim was my MFA thesis advisor when I was in grad school. She's one of the nicest people I know, and this is one of her many books. One of her earlier books is actually a finalist for the Pulitzer and is, last I heard, being made into a movie. But this is a fantasy, historical fiction fantasy, I think, and really, really good. But this is a signed copy I got from her. And for all those keeping track, you see this is double-sided down here on this bottom row. So there's books in the front and in the back. So keep that in mind when you're tallying your numbers. And then the last one I have to show off right now is this shelf of red books. As you can see, there's a lot of familiar titles there. The one that I want to highlight the most here is this amazing annotated edition of Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe, with an introduction and notes by Henry Louis Gates Jr. and Hollis Robbins. This book was life-changing for me when I read it as a kid, and I just love it. And I love this annotated version because it has different notes and pictures throughout about the book and the times and everything that's happening in the book, and it's just, I just love it so much. So I will go out later. I'll go out and film the rest of my book haul, or my bookshelf tour, and put this up for you all to see and to guess how many books there are. Yeah, that's it for now. Now the last part of our bookshelf tour are these two bookshelves. The one on the left here, the white one, is what I'm calling my books my boyfriend gave me shelf. This is where all the books from John, my boyfriend, are going. As you can see, there's still room for more, and I can't wait to keep adding to it. And it's deep enough that I could, as you can see in the back there, fit front and back. So I am really excited to fill that one up. I love just seeing the random books that he brings home for me. I get so excited. And then over here, this top shelf up here are all books from my family or about my family, because my great-great-great-grandfather, I think that's enough greats, was a famous painter. That's him right there on the spine. His name is Ralph Albert Blakelock. He was a famous landscape painter, mostly landscapes. He had schizophrenia, and there were a couple books written about him. In the U.S. American art history world, he's somewhat of a big deal. And then these are all books that were my grandpa's, my great-grandma's, my mom's, and so those are special to me there. And then all of the books down here are books that I'm selling on Abe Books. They're either books that I've read and don't think I'll reread anytime soon, books that I didn't really agree with, or books from my stepdad that he's given me that I don't really think I'll read anytime soon. So if you see something here that you like, let me know and I will set it aside for you. And yeah. So that was my bookshelf tour. I hope you all loved it. It was a lot of fun to do. I had an in-depth unboxing and shelving projects and general tour of my apartment for my patrons. So if you want to see that, come join my Patreon. That link will be down in the description below. It's only $1 to join, so there's no pressure there really. $1 a month. But if not, let me know if you enjoyed this video, because it was a lot of fun to make. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun to make. And B, how many books you think I own, including all of the books you've seen. So I'll give this about a month. So July 20th, we'll say. I will look, and whoever gets the closest without going over, the closest number without going over, will win a book off of their wish list, whatever wish list they have. And if there's more than one, I'll put your names on a wheel and spin to see who wins. So this is going to be a lot of fun to see how many books y'all think I have. I have an exact number that I got from this app that I cataloged all of my books that I own. So I am really, really excited to see how many y'all think. And if you liked this video, let me know in the comments below. That's it for now, so keep reading, and I love y'all to the moon and back. Bye.